Hey guys, alright, crazy episode. If you haven't watched it, go watch it and then watch this video because there's going to be plenty of spoilers in it, but if you have watched it, you're in the right place. So we start out with the child helping Mandalorian fix the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest's been beat up in the past couple episodes. But the child we see in this small little place trying to mess around with the wires and eventually electrocutes himself. Pretty good scene, pretty funny. But then he says that we need to go to Navarro, and you see him lift up his helmet to drink. You don't see his face, but it's kind of like a transitioning phase from. We see that he just met a bunch of Mandalorians who take off their helmets, and he realizes that most Mandalorians do take off their helmets, so maybe we'll get to a point where he takes off his helmet consistently. Then we get to Navarro, and they're waiting for him. In Cara Dune, we get a nice scene of her fighting. She's now the Marshal of Navarro. And there's two people waiting to fix Mando's ship, and one of them you can see is just creepy by the way he turns around and plays like a scary music as if to say this guy's a bad guy. So then they come into town, and when they're walking into town and they're going to go into the building that used to be the bar, you see in the background an EIG statue, which probably built out of his parts or something from his sacrifice and saving everybody in season 1. Then they go in, and it's a school now, and they drop off the child in a school being held by a protocol droid. There's a lot like C-3PO, but I like to think of it as a lot like the protocol droid from Phantom Menace. It's actually a female voice. They drop the kid off, and then they go talk business, where they meet the first bounty that we saw Mando get in season 1. He walks in, and immediately we figure out that he's on a 350-year payoff of all of his debt, kind of. And they have a mission to siege this Imperial base that's still on Navarro. They want Navarro to be swept clean of all the Imperial's troops. So they drive over there, and they go up, and Mando beats up some stormtroopers, and they set the trap so that the whole place will blow up. And when they get there, they have to shoot some people, but they find these tanks, and they find a message, and the message is from the doctor that we see in the first season, who has the cloning badge on his arm, that says, I'll paraphrase it, he says that the injections weren't working, and he only got a certain amount of blood from the child that he could use, and they weren't going well because there wasn't enough M count. He says M, which is most likely midichlorian count, so they're going to have to find someone who has a higher midichlorian count so that they can inject them with the child's blood, and they're trying to make a Force user. The camera pans to the tanks, you hear Snoke's theme song, which means, and if you zoom in on it, you can see the same like scar on his head, like right here. Same one that Snoke has. One ear is a lot smaller than the other one, like Snoke. He's very broken down. It's possible that this could be Snoke, or it could be how Snoke is made in future seasons or future episodes. So, could the child be the reason that Snoke was created, and the First Order was created, and Palpatine survives, and Kylo Ren is really just apprenticed to a clone of the child? This is insane. Alright, but we'll keep going. Enough speculation. We'll keep going on the episode. So then we'll flash forward to when Mando escapes. He goes to get the child because he's in danger. The rest of them, they go and steal a Imperial speeder, and a bunch of stormtroopers follow after them. Cool fight scene where they take down all of them, and then the TIE fighters come in, and Mando's in the Razor Crest with the child, saves them, and there's a sick fight scene in the sky, and it's one of the greatest fight scenes that I've ever seen with TIE fighter versus the Razor Crest. But then Mando leaves, and he's going to Ahsoka, which is I'm still pumped for. I'm still kind of mad that there was no Ahsoka in this episode, but this episode was so good that it doesn't really bother me. We'll see Ahsoka next week. But then we cut to a girl who's wearing kind of a in between First Order and Empire suit, and talks to the alien that we saw at the beginning, who worked on Mando's ship, and says that the tracker is set in place, and she says you'll be rewarded in the new age or new era, or something like that, which means the First Order, or what I think is the First Order. Then she goes to Moff to tell him the news, and he's all smiles, but he's standing in front of a trooper. And these troopers, there's about like 20 or so of them in this scene, but they could be one of two or maybe three things. One, they could be these crazy troopers from this old video game that are force wielders, but they're stormtroopers and they have red lightsabers and they're insane. Or they could just be like droids, kind of like very high advanced stormtrooper droids. And thirdly, they could be force wielders that Moff Gideon like is controlling. Imagine Ahsoka fighting off Moff with the Darksaber. That would be insane, because they know where Mando's going, and Mando's going to see Ahsoka. So we're gonna see the Empire, or the ex-Empire, pre First Order follow Mando to Ahsoka. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be absolutely insane. I can't wait for next episode. I'll be here to do the same video. I might have another video coming this week, but that episode was crazy. That's all I got this week. Just can't wait for Ahsoka. And wow, if that is Snoke in that freaking tube thingy, if that is Snoke in that thing, I'm gonna lose my mind. Alright. May the Force be with you.